Before this video begins, I would just like to clarify that this script was made right after version 1.5 of IndieCross came out. So don't go in the comments and say, hey, you're irrelevant, this mod came out months ago. Yeah, I know, procrastination's great. Anyways, on with the show. So, IndieCross is a thing that happened. Being released a couple weeks ago, IndieCross is one of, if not the best Friday Night Funkin' mod ever made. With 3 weeks, extra songs, a nightmare mode, and even Game Jolt integration with achievements, it's no wonder mostly everyone liked or loved this mod. And with version 2 being announced through the credits and update 1.5 just being released, I figure we could look back at some of the great ideas this mod brings. So, come with me as I rank every single IndieCross song in one list. Before getting to number 19, I wanted to quickly go over how exactly I ranked all of these songs. I used 3 criteria to choose the best from the worst: how good the actual song sounds, how the sprites look / how accurate they are to the original games, and things that spice up the gameplay like mechanics or the background changing. I also took into consideration both the 1.0 and 1.5 versions, which means that if something was awful in 1.0, it could take down the score. But if something was added in 1.5 that improved upon an already good aspect of the game, then its score could be boosted. One more thing, next to the song name will be 2 numbers, one being the overall ranking, aka where it places in my opinion, and the other being how hard I think the song is overall. With the ranking system fully established, the worst song, in my opinion, of IndieCross is... I don't even really know what to say about this one. This song just doesn't feel like it belongs in this mod. During the song, you face off against Papyrus in a very slow song that is extremely easy. It's also one of the shortest songs in the mod, clocking in at around 1:30, which is extremely short. Even the added mechanics from 1.5 don't help the song very much. It adds so little difficulty that it feels like less of a challenge and more of a pain for players trying to full combo the song. However, the worst part of this song has to be the fact that it is a reward for beating Burning in Help Me, which is the harder of the split path, which we'll get to later. Spoiler alert for the rest of the list, but Boondoggle, the song you get for beating Final Stretch, you know, the easier of the 2 options, is one of the best songs in IndieCross. So not only is Bad to the Bone the worst of the 2 songs you unlock for Sans' week, but you also get it after beating the harder of the 2 songs. It just wasn't like a good decision. This song wasn't a good decision. So again, spoilers for the rest of the list, but I think that Cuphead has the best overall music of any week. So imagine my surprise when this is the week's secret song. I have no clue why, but this song is just so annoying for me. The chart is good, the art is accurate to the original game, there's an animation at the start that is in the devil's real fight in Cuphead, even the imps, the annoying imps, aren't horrible in this. But I just hate the song. I genuinely don't know why, but pretty much every part of the song except the beginning, the part that has the actual devil's theme in it, is not enjoyable to listen to. I think it's probably because in the background there's just no substance. There's like 2 instruments and they aren't even fun to listen to. I also think that the vocals just don't fit the devil's voice at all. Considering how well / accurate they were with Cuphead's voice in both his cutscenes and songs, it just hurts to hear how awful the vocals are in this song. That's pretty much it. The only reason this isn't worse than Bad to the Bone is because this at least feels like a complete experience with mechanics and everything included, not just a half-cut song that doesn't belong. Wow, this is boring. Terrible Sin is by far the worst song of the 3 main weeks, especially Bendy's own week. I mean, the charting in this song is really slow-paced, after songs like Knockout and Burning in Helicopter, and the fact that this is the 3rd and final week, you'd think that the songs would start to get difficult. Nope! You know that this song is easy when almost all of the previous song is harder, and for half of that you're facing off against a cardboard cutout! Besides the easy nature of the song, and the fact that the song is really mundane, there's only one thing I can praise the song for, and it's the fact that it feels like a Bendy song. Since Bendy and the Ink Machine doesn't have much music in it, the creators really had to find a way to make these songs feel like Bendy, so they go for a much more atmospheric approach to his week, which I can appreciate. I also like the ink notes, although I feel they are a little underused in this song. Overall, an okay song with quite a few problems. Funny Skeleton Man! You know, despite the name, I never really got into this song, and unlike the previous 3 songs, I don't have much to say about it. I like Santa's vocals, the mechanics are fun, the way the choice of pacifist or genocide is presented is fun and creative. It's just that the song really suffers from being an early song. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, 9 months ago, Indie Cross got an early streamer build with 1 song for each week. Snake Eyes, Last Reel, and of course, Sensational. And while the other 2 don't suffer as much from being an early song, this one sort of falls flat. Also, I found the references to Roses from week 6 to be a very weird inclusion for the song, so this song is not one of my favorites. Dang, these next 2 were close. Man, this song is great! For about half of it. The beginning of the song where Boyfriend faces off against the Bendy cutout is absolutely the best part of the song, with the pianist being the star of the show. The piano in this song is great, and the first half feels like a song you'd hear from Bendy and the Ink Machine. However, once the piano stops and the mid-song cutscene plays, which is really cool by the way, the song turns into a better version of Terrible Sin. And while that may sound like a good thing, it's really not. It's slow, the piano is gone, and worst of all, the difficulty drops. And again, the difficulty isn't that big of a deal, but for this being the final week, it should theoretically be harder, which it's not. So, it's going near the bottom of the list for me. These 2 were close, but I gotta give the number 14 spot to Sammy. So, you know how I said that Bendy's week really goes into more atmospheric songs? Well, the entire week combined isn't as atmospheric as Ritual. You face off against Sammy Lawrence, and as the music director of Joey Ju Studios, of course this man had a banger of a song. However, it comes at a cost. While the song being easy isn't that big of an issue since it's one of the bonus songs and they tend to be pretty easy, the fact that the song is barely 2 minutes and there's a big build-up at the beginning of it, practically making it 1:45, and you've got one of the shortest songs of the mod. Also, even though I praised it for having atmosphere and not minding the difficulty, the song can get pretty repetitive with a ton of hold notes throughout the song. Now then, why did I put this above Imminent Demise? Well, I think the songs are equal, I like all the mechanics and stuff, but I had to give the edge to Ritual because of the really clever axe throw at the end. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, at the end of the song, a dodge button appears for just a second, and then Sammy throws his axe at Boyfriend, which is, while aggravating on the first run-through, really a fun mechanic that tests your reflexes in an otherwise really easy song. So yeah, Ritual's pretty decent. Okay, I know this sounds stupid, but the difficulty with the Nightmare songs is the problem. Unlike some of the previous entries, I genuinely think that Despair and Number 12 can swap places and nothing would change. And, spoiler alert, they're both Nightmare songs. My main issue with these songs both is and isn't the difficulty. Yes, I get it, these songs are supposed to be difficult, and I like the jump in difficulty. However, my big issue with these songs is it feels like they prioritize difficulty over actual enjoyable gameplay. Like, this song doesn't feel like anything. When you get something like this, can really tell that they're going for difficulty over a fun game. Here, let me list to you everything that happens in this song that feels like they prioritize making it extremely difficult over fun. Ink notes, the Fisher, screen shake when Nightmare Bendy sings, the Bendy cutout appearing to block your view, and the fire that blinds you. The two things that aren't on that list are the two most surprising ones to me and probably you. The Piper and the Striker and the Death Notes. While the Death Notes are annoying, they're oddly manageable here, even more so than in other songs like Nightmare Run, and are even fun. And the Piper and Striker are skill-based mechanics that have a rhythm to them, unlike the Fisher, who just randomly comes from across the screen. Oh yeah, also the song build-up didn't annoy me as much as it did others, but it still wasn't as fun after the 50th death. Bunny Skeleton Man, but on fire. So, I don't have much to say that hasn't already been said with Despair. However, the song in the back has improved a lot. You can hear bits from Battle Against a True Hero in the background, which really adds some character to the song. Now then, you may be asking, but Littlest, you said that Bad Time and Despair were interchangeable. And yes, I hear you. The answer is quite simple. The Blue Bones. I enjoy the spin on the dodge mechanic being both blue and orange, so whether to dodge or not to dodge is the real question. And the orange notes are okay, even though they're a little annoying. But these flippin' blue notes. I'll be honest with you guys, I've never beaten Bad Time on heck difficulty because of these notes. Remember how I talked about how much I didn't like Bendy's Nightmare Mode song and how the mechanics weren't fun to play? Now, imagine we got all the bad mechanics, smash them together, multiply them by 100, and now we have Bad Time. It's just not fun. Well, version 1.5 kind of fixed the issue with them not being insta-kill, but they took out the blue and orange dodge being random, which was actually an interesting mechanic, so I don't like this song specifically because of this dumb note. Oh, and also the screen shake from Bendy's Week is in all the Nightmare songs, so yeah! Okay, I think we're done with all of the songs that I have major issues with. It took longer than expected, but now all that's left to do is... Why do I hear boss music? Oh shoot, run. Okay then. So, when I say this, I don't mean the best or the coolest overall, but Nightmare Run is by far the most impressive song in the entire game. I mean, we go through a huge hallway in the dark, upstairs, past the ink machine, there's custom running animation for both Bendy and Boyfriend, there's ink notes, there's health drain, there's insta-death notes. It really feels like they went all out for the final song of the final week. And the difficulty definitely reflects on that. It is really hard, beating out even Cuphead's Nightmare song, in my opinion, in the difficulty department. Now, there's one part of this that I don't mind, but is a little annoying, and that's the blacklight sections. During these, your arrows are completely pitch black, and although 1.5 update made them a little easier to see, it still annoys me to have to miss notes there when I know I can almost full combo the whole song without mechanics on. But screw all those problems, we got Tricky and Zavadilla references, heck yeah! Funny Skeleton. Oh, wait a minute, I already made this joke twice, didn't I? So yeah, Sans' first song. It sure is a song that exists. Okay, let's start out with the good stuff. I love that at the start of Sans' song, he hits you with a huge attack, because as he stated in the game, he always uses his strongest attack first, which I love. Also, this song is Sans' song. I know that sounds obvious, but most Friday Night Funkin' songs you could switch who sings it, and it would still fit perfectly. Heck, there's a wildly popular video type on YouTube called But Every Turn a Different Character is Used, in which you take a song, and each turn a new character sings it. But if you were to try and do that with Whoopi, it just wouldn't fit. It's so laid back and slow, which would only really fit Sans and his vocals. Also, one thing that Sensational doesn't do, that pretty much all the other Sans songs do, yes, even Bad Time, is Undertale themes. And while the other two songs are loaded with Undertale references, Whoopi still has a few, although mostly Sans' themes, like Sans, song that might play when you fight Sans, and of course, Megalovania. And while all these things are good, I just can't rank this song any higher. This isn't to make the song seem bad, it's just the rest of the songs on this list are so good, I just couldn't rank this up one or two more. Speaking of the other songs... Man, people are gonna hate me for this, aren't they? Alright, let me explain. Snake Eyes is this high on the list for two reasons. Firstly, it is the perfect first song for this mod, or any mod for that matter. The difficulty in this is just right. It doesn't take too long for a beginner to beat, but it has a few spots that will still make it fun to try and go for a full combo on. And of course, the second reason I love this song is the art style. Although Bendy is a nice enough looking game, and Undertale is interesting looking going for an 8-bit style, Cuphead is by far the most unique art style of the three games, being one of the key selling points since each frame is drawn by hand. And although it isn't all hand-drawn here, it looks similar enough to be extremely accurate. The background at least looks to be watercolored. They even have the effect that were on old movies from the 1930s that was also in Cuphead. Speaking of which, Cuphead's own vocals are great. Although I would have preferred them to sound a little more like his voice, they still sound nice. Heck, even the notes are one color with zero shading, really adding to the whole aesthetic. So yeah, Snake Eyes is pretty good. Okay, the fact that this is not only in the game, not only did they get DA Games to make this for them, but the fact that it also sounds really good is insane! Hearing this song after forgetting about it for years is both really nice and kinda nostalgic. I mean, Build Your Machine came out right after the release of Chapter 1, which was over 5 years ago! It's crazy to think about. Wait, what were we talking about? Oh right, Freaky Machine's great. I feel like the background should have been black and white, same with Boyfriend, but man, both of Bendy's sprites are really cool looking. And that transition to what is essentially Phase 2 with the theme changing from Build Our Machine to Instruments of Cyanide is really nice. And while this isn't actual criticism, I feel like this song should have included Gospel of Dismay instead of the previously mentioned Instruments of Cyanide, since Gospel of Dismay is much more popular and well known. But besides that, Bendy's voice is also great and sounds like a goofy cartoon character, with Phase 2's voice sounding like he's trying to sound sinister, but still has that goofy tone to it. So good job, DA Games, you made yet another banger song. And Saster 2, who helped with all the voices and is the best FNF musician in this entire mod. Yeah, I went there, fight me. You know, after all this struggle with fighting magical cups, ink demons, and even the literal devil, it's nice to just sit back and relax by the waterfall. Remember how I said that Whoopi was a song that really only fits Sans? Well, I feel the same way about this song, but a little less. The laid-back nature of it, in contrast with the extremely intense song that is Burning and Hula Hoop, is just really great. The vocals are just perfect to Sans, and the zoom-in sections, oh, they're so good. The lighting in Waterfall is also a really nice change of pace of the yellow lighting of Judgment Hall. Also, remember how I said there were tons of references to the Undertale soundtrack? Well, I wasn't lying! Yeah, there's a lot. The only thing I could really complain about is the randomly difficult part near the end with a lot of notes, but then again, this is technically the final song of the week, so it should be more difficult than the others. Now, I've been praising this song a lot, and it's only number 7, so I think you should know by now that this mod has some pretty good songs. And if you don't, well, just wait till number 6. Man, it hurts to put this one so low. This song used to easily be in my top 3, but after listening to the full soundtrack over and over again, I've got to put Technicolor Tussle at number 6. Now, most of the reason why I like Cuphead's week I've already been over with Snake Eyes, so I'm just gonna go over the new stuff to this song. First off, the bullet mechanic. I think this is one of the coolest mechanics so far, mostly because it's not just a typical dodge mechanic or fight back mechanic. You have to get your card up by hitting a parry note, then attack Cuphead back. The only complaint I have with this is it feels like you should be able to have multiple cards saved up, just like in the actual game, but this isn't much of a big deal in this song, so I can deal with it. Another reason I like this song is a ton of Cuphead's vocals sound more, like Cuphead. I don't know what they did between Snake Eyes and this to make it so much nicer, but it sounds awesome. Not much else to say other than that this song is amazing. Hey, remember when I said that I hated all the Nightmare songs? I lied! Now, this is what I call a Nightmare song. An intense feeling song that is ridiculously hard, but doesn't trade any of that in for fun. Although the screen shake is still here that were in the other 2 Nightmare songs, I oddly don't mind it, since there's nothing I need to hyper-focus on other than hitting the notes correctly, like whether I should dodge or not. The addition of the fire notes is also nice because unlike 1.0 Blue Bones, the fire notes barely take half your HP, and with all the notes flying at you that are in these difficult patterns but not spammy, recovering HP isn't too hard. And while I feel like the 1.5 update making the EX moves not insta-death to be a little weird since they weren't too hard to deal with, but at least you can still have that on the helicopter difficulty. Also, the song itself is great, and is one of the few FNF songs I can listen to on loop without getting bored, and although I feel like it's a little empty in the background like the other 2 Nightmare songs, it is much less notable than those 2. This song, while not having any themes from Cuphead, actually sounds like something you get from the actual soundtrack. Like, if this was from the Devil's Boss theme, I wouldn't mind it at all. So yeah, maybe the devs can learn a thing or two from Devil's Gambit for the rest of the Nightmare songs, and even new ones in the future. Speaking of Nightmare songs, this one really should have been Sans's. Alright, so this song has a lot going for it. For one, the way Sansa's sprites look so intimidating even though they just got their pupils taken out, and the way the hallway is made just ever so slightly darker makes this song feel really intense. Also, we have just the right amount of references to the Undertale soundtrack possible. And the Gaster Blaster mechanic is one of the most unique in the mod by far, since you actually have to dodge it just like in Undertale with WASD. Now then, why do I think that this should have been Sans's Nightmare song? Well, it's simple. For one, the Gaster Blaster section would have been a nice Nightmare edition only, and the bone notes are much more manageable, yet still add a fun challenge to the song. The only other thing I would like to add to this, in my opinion, is if they added more Gaster Blaster sections. Like, I found it weird that there was a part in there where they sent you back to the battle box, and yet there were no blasters to dodge. It was just sort of felt out of place. But overall, this song is just perfect the way it is. Now that we're in the top 3, I'd like to take a moment to look back on all of the songs that came before. You done remembering? Good, because now it's time to do number 3. And oh boy, they really knocked it out of the park. You get it? Because, like, knockout, it's the name of the song. Okay, yeah, I know that joke sucked. But you know what doesn't suck? This song! Again, most of the praise I have for this song has already been stated, so I'll only go over the new stuff. Like Cuphead's voice. Yep, each song it gets better and better, and here it genuinely sounds like he's angry. Speaking of anger, his new EX shots. And while I feel like the 1.5 update making the EX shots not one-shot on Devil's Gambit is a little weird, I fully understand and appreciate the change to them on Knockout. Another cool fact about this song is that if you turn off the mechanics, you don't actually get to see Mugman get destroyed, which is... Oh right, the Mugman death scene! Near the end of the song, a fake-out happens where you can get killed if you don't dodge, but if you do end up dodging, then get ready to see Mugman get destroyed by his own brother. Yeah, and then Cuphead gets real mad and goes ham on you. All in all, this song is a real knockout of the park. Oh, wait a minute, I already made that joke. Whoops! Okay, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't have time to do an intro for this song because I'm already on page 11 of this script. So let's just roll what's number 2. Can we just take a second to remember how I thought that Bad to the Bone, you know, the worst Indie Cross song in my opinion, is the companion of this? Like, that song was awful. And here it's companion song, ranking number 2. Where do I even start? Papyrus in this song just feels so much more energetic than he did in Bad to the Bone. And Sans, oh Sans my beloved. He is just the comedian that is needed for this song. From napping at the beginning of the song and the end, to his amazing xylophone solo in the middle, he is just so charming. That's actually how I would describe this whole song. Charming. This song just captures the funny and wackiness of Undertale perfectly. Every little animation that Sans and Papyrus does is amazing. And don't even get me started on how cute their losing icon is. It's just so wholesome. The background theme is nice, and the references to the Undertale soundtrack, while not abundant as Sans is weak, is still a nice touch to the perfect song. Again, props to Saster, he really nailed it with this song. However, with that song over, it's time for number 1. Wait, hold up, wait a minute. That can't be right, can it? I thought I wasn't supposed to like Bendy's Week. Yeah, so let me explain. This song is the best song in the mod by a long shot, in my opinion. I would say that Boondoggle is about a 9.7 out of 10 for me, and you know how much I praise that song. And Last Reel is at least a 17. This song is so good. If you can remember, I said this about Snake Eyes. The difficulty in this is just right. I'd say the same is true for this song, but to a bigger scale. The song is perfectly balanced, as all things should be, to where players that are newer to FNF will take a little time to beat it, but it won't take too long, while veterans will also have to take a while to full combo the song, so it's a nice balance. Speaking of difficulty, let's talk about the mechanics. It's pretty much all the good parts from Despair. The Piper and Striker are back, but the Fisher is nowhere to be seen, minus that little jump scare part at the end, but that is also pretty well managed. The Ink Notes are here, but they are much more manageable in this song, as well as the Death Notes, which are a fun addition again. Now, all this sounds pretty good, but you may be asking, how is this number 1? You praised Boondoggle so much! Well, it all has to do with one thing, the actual song itself. It doesn't do atmosphere like the rest of the songs, it isn't reliant on themes from its own game, it is just the perfect Friday Night Funkin' song. Unlike the rest of the songs on this list, Last Reel could have its vocals swapped and put in a different mod and no one would even turn ahead. This song is not just my favorite to listen to Friday Night Funkin' wise, it is a contender in all video game music in my opinion. There's really not much else I can add. It's just a fun to play song with one of the best video games music tracks to go with it. Wow, I never really thought I'd make it this far. 11 pages and almost 5,000 words later, and I'm already losing my voice. I was expecting this video to be like a 10, maybe 20 minute video, and here I am on page 12, finally ending this video. I have no clue how long this video is going to be, but all I have left to do is to thank you for making it this far. Before I start rambling, for those of you who just scrolled to the end of the video to see the final results, here they are. And to those of you who have put up with me for this long, why not subscribe? I mean, it's free, and you can only turn on notifications if you subscribe, and since you went through this entire video, then I know you're going to like the rest of my content. Speaking of, why not check out the previous scripted video? Not really to enjoy it, but to compare how much I've grown in just a half a year. Or was it a year and a half? 3 years? And it all blends together now. Also, leave a comment saying what your favorite and least favorite song from Cross is. And of course, if you love my content, you can catch me live on Twitch every now and again, or if you just want to stay up to date with what I'm doing both channel and video game wise, you can follow me on Twitter. But with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!